Zal from the upcoming. Lovely to speak to you today.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations on this fantastic film. So obviously I guess you receive a lot of scripts. What was it about this particular story that stood out for you and made you want to climb on board?
I had never seen anything like this before on film, ever. I'd never seen this person before. And it was a woman who was completely normal, ordinary woman, but just a total hero. And I see them every day of my life in real life, but those stories are not put on film because we're used to telling stories about male heroes. And then we used to stories where the male hero action is just taken and done by a woman. But that's not what I want to know about. I want stories about female heroism. It's different. And the way in which we operate is different. And, you know, she's not the kind of person who suddenly goes, I have special gifts, and suddenly turns out to have been trained by the SAS. She's just a normal woman like your mum or my mum who just survives in a particular landscape because she knows it, and also she just goes, I have to help. And I mean, how many women do we know who are like that? Women are heroic every day of their lives, most of them in my view, and I want to see more stories that display that.
Not just in cat suits and hot pants as well.
Exactly. Yes, some of them in their 60s and a terrible old clatty jumpsuit, worker's jumpsuit. Absolutely.
Also, can you tell us a bit about your character, Barb, and how you kind of honed that in and made it really authentic with your accent?
Well, I spent a lot of time talking to Minnesotan women. And the writers who are from Minnesota, the authenticity of the story is so deep. I mean, there's a story in the middle of the movie she tells about her grandfather, which is a true story. It was one of the author's great-grandfather. So everything about it had this authentic taste. So I thought, okay, how am I going to get close to this? Because I can't get to Minnesota. So we were introduced to a community of Minnesotans, and we spent hours on Zoom just talking to them. And we'd go into their workshops and they'd show us, you know, their gloves, all their tools, what they would do, how they would, you know, invent something. If they didn't have the right tool, they'd use something else and make it. So they were really resourceful, and they were also very dry. People who'd grown up in that atmosphere. There's nothing glamorous about it. It's really cold, and so the physicality of your life is really practical, and that practicality is, I suppose, what makes them very, very specific.
What was it like working with Gaia as your daughter and playing the younger version of yourself? I know you don't appear on screen together, but what was that like, kind of channeling that, working that together, working that character Barb out?
We had a wonderful time working out what she was like together. We all had different pieces. We had different pieces of the jigsaw puzzle. And I was so grateful because I'd go and watch them being young together. And that would make me feel as though I was watching a memory. And that was so valuable. And when I saw the way Brian Kirk had put these tiny little pieces in, just dropping them in so that you work, the love story is so clear. And it's so valuable, I think, because it's a story about two very ordinary people they haven't got much resources. They don't have anything really, but they have an incredibly deep and purposeful and meaningful life. And that's, as it were, the kind of raft upon which she sets sail as she goes on this journey, is this really solid and extraordinary relationship.
And thank you so much for speaking to me. It's a beautiful film. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you very much.